What is the most effective way to manage and teach children with Asperger's syndrome? Children with Asperger's syndrome generally have impairment in social interaction, difficulties with non-verbal communication, difficulties starting relationship with peers. They need routines to the point of being ritualistic. Many Asperger's syndrome students also report sensory sensitivities to touch and sound. They usually have average or higher intelligence and usually are graded from mild to severe. Children with Asperger's syndrome are more prone to bullying, and as such the whole class needs to be made aware of other people's differences to bullying and eliminate inequalities for teaching and learning in an inclusive classroom. Asperger's is a developmental disability which affects the way a student develops and understands the world around them, and directly linked to their senses and sensory processing. This means that they often use these behaviours to block out their emotions or response to pain. Although they may vary slightly from person to person, children with Asperger's tend to have similar symptoms. The main ones are difficulties with social functioning, particularly in the rough and tumble of a school environment, sensory issues, where they are oversensitive to bright light, loud sounds and unpleasant smells, obsessive interests with a focus on one subject to the exclusion of all others, social isolation and struggles to make friends due to a lack of empathy and an inability to pick up on or understand social graces and cues such as stop talking and allow others to speak, a rigid insistence on routine, where any change can cause an emotional or psychological meltdown. They need to know when everything is happening in order not to feel completely overwhelmed. When teaching children with Asperger's syndrome, the teacher must be aware of the classroom influences and the way those influences affect the students. Managing an Asperger's syndrome student can be as simple as to add a few clocks, create a special workplace, buy earplugs, make schedules and visualize everything. Breaking up the tasks they need to learn into small steps can be a great help. Repeat those steps over and over again and they will get it eventually. Copy worksheets and give those Asperger's students more space to write. Give them longer and wider lines. Use of a laptop in school or headsets can turn out to be a great way of helping children with Asperger's syndrome. There are some strategy suggestions. Provide a predictable and safe environment. Minimize transitions. Offer consistent daily routine. Asperger's students must understand each day's routine and know what to expect in order to be able to concentrate on the task at hand. Avoid surprises. Prepare the student thoroughly and in advance for special activities, altered schedules, or other change in routine, regardless of how minimal. Expose the child to the new activity, teacher, class, school, camp, and so forth beforehand. And as soon as possible after he or she is informed of the change to prevent obsessive worrying. Programming suggestions. Provide a highly individualized educational program that offers consistent successes. The child with Asperger's needs great motivation and not follow their own impulses. Do not assume that children with Asperger's syndrome understand something just because they parrot back what they have heard. Offer added explanation and try to simplify when lesson concepts are abstract. Capitalize on these individuals' exceptional memory. Retaining factual information is frequently their forte. Emotional nuances, multiple levels of meaning and relationship issues as presented in novels will often not be understood. The written of individual tasks are often repetitive, moving from one subject area to the next and contain incorrect word connotations. These children frequently do not know the difference between general knowledge and personal ideas, and therefore assume the teacher will understand these sometimes abstruse expressions. Children with Asperger syndrome often have excellent reading recognition skills, but language comprehension is weak. Do not assume they understand what they so fluently read. Academic work may be of poor quality because of the child with Asperger syndrome is not motivated to exert effort in areas in which he or she is not interested. Be firm. Very firm expectations must be set for the quality of work produced. Work executed within time periods must be not only complete, but done carefully. The child with Asperger syndrome should be expected to correct poorly executed classwork during recess or during the time he or she usually pursues his or her interests. This link provides a wide range of programming ideas and strategies for students with Asperger syndromes, as well as an example of a full unit of work using appropriate text.